Florian Eldridge. The scent of brass and oil clung to Florian Eldridge like a second skin. He wasn't a craftsman, not truly. He polished gears, swept floors, and delivered tea to Master Bram, the most renowned clockmaker in Eiffelberg. But Florian felt a hollowness, a quiet ache that no amount of meticulous work could fill. He was the forgotten heir, a lineage whispered about in dusty ledgers. The Eldridges once built the great clocks of the city, not merely maintained them. Now he was a shadow, a polite ghost in his ancestors' workshop, eternally fixing what others created. He yearned to design, to imbue time itself with a new pulse, but Master Bram, a man of rigid tradition, dismissed his sketches with a wave of his hand and a curt, "Stick to the polishing, boy." A traveling merchant, Old Man Silas, arrived with a peculiar contraption, a miniature orrery powered by a swirling violet stone. Silas claimed it wasn't a stone at all, but chronarium, a crystallized fragment of time itself. "It amplifies intention," Silas rasped, his eyes gleaming, "allows a craftsman to infuse their creations with a bit of the future." Master Bram scoffed, but Florian was captivated. Silas, noticing the young man's interest, discreetly offered him a small piece of the chronarium, warning, "Use it sparingly. Time, like a river, resists being steered." It was a risky gamble, a forbidden whisper of potential, but Florian felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Florian began to incorporate the chronarium, ground into a fine powder, into the alloys he used for crafting small clockwork birds. The results were astonishing. The birds didn't just move, they seemed to anticipate movements, their flight path fluid and graceful, almost alive. Master Bram, initially dismissive, was forced to acknowledge Florian's newfound talent. Commissions flooded in. Florian was celebrated, his creations lauded for their uncanny beauty and precision. He wasn't just fixing clocks anymore, he was creating wonder. The workshop buzzed with activity, and Florian, finally recognized, felt a sense of purpose he'd never known before. But the chronarium came with a subtle cost. Florian noticed a blurring at the edges of his vision, a sense of detachment from the present. He'd lose hours, finding himself inexplicably in different parts of the workshop, unable to recall how he'd gotten there. Customers began to report odd occurrences with the clocks. Minor malfunctions, but unsettling ones. A cuckoo clock would chime at random, a grandfather clock would run backwards for a few seconds. Master Bram, though impressed by the craftsmanship, grew wary. He sensed something unnatural about the creations. The malfunctions escalated. A complex astronomical clock, commissioned by the city council, began to display incorrect dates, throwing the city into confusion. Then, reports surfaced of people experiencing fragmented memories, glimpses of events that hadn't happened, or hadn't happened yet. Florian, consumed by his work and blinded by success, dismissed these concerns as coincidence, but Master Bram, remembering old warnings about tampering with time, forbade him from using the chronarium. Florian, arrogant and convinced of his own genius, continued in secret, convinced he could control the flow of time. The city descended into temporal chaos. Buildings flickered in and out of existence, streets shifted their layout, and people were plagued by overlapping memories. Master Bram confronted Florian, accusing him of reckless endangerment. In a furious argument, the chronarium dust ignited, causing a surge of energy that froze time within the workshop. Everything stopped. Master Bram, tools, even the dust motes suspended in the air. Only Florian, somehow shielded by his proximity to the chronarium, remained mobile, trapped in a silent, frozen world of his own making. Florian, realizing the full extent of his folly, understood that he hadn't mastered time, he had fractured it. He painstakingly gathered the remaining chronarium dust, and using his skills, crafted a single resonant chime. He struck the chime, channeling all his energy into a single, focused wave of temporal energy, aiming to restore the flow of time. It cost him dearly. The surge drained his memories, his ambition, leaving him a quiet, humbled craftsman. He sacrificed his recognition, his genius, to save the city. Years later, Florian Eldridge still worked in Master Bram's workshop, now owned by Bram's son. He no longer designed clocks, but he meticulously maintained them, ensuring their steady, reliable ticking. The city had recovered, but a faint echo of the temporal chaos lingered in the collective memory. Florian, though forgotten by most, found a quiet contentment in his work. He understood that time wasn't something to be controlled, but something to be respected. Its steady rhythm, a comfort, and a reminder of the price of ambition.